Hi, I'm Krista Johnson. This is my horse Louie. We're going to talk a little bit about backing up. It's really important to be specific on how we back the horse up. We want them backing up starting with the hind feet first. A lot of people will go straight to the reins, which I am going to use the reins to talk to his hind feet, but we tend to just try to kind of pull them and muscle them back, and a lot of times that makes a really heavy, not productive looking backup, because I actually want them to have 2 beats in the backup. It's basically a trot backwards. Louie and I aren't quite trotting backwards yet, but anyways, back to the beginning. It's going to start with our indirect rein. So I'm going to lift my rein, ask him to shift his hip over. He's already going to start backing up because he knows this. So I want to start by talking to the hind feet first, not his face. I'm going to lift this rein, get him to shift his hip over. Lift this rein, get him to shift his hip over. There we go. So now that we've kicked the back feet loose, now I can put that feel to draw him back. And even though that was super slow motion, he did a great job there. And what I liked about it is you didn't see him throw his head in the air. He didn't punch his nose out. He wasn't dragging his front end back. So ideally, even though we didn't have enough momentum there for him to really pick himself up, ideally I want him to elevate his shoulders, lift his back, and get close to trotting backwards on a diagonal. I'm going to ask him to come forward a little bit here just so we have room, which I guess we could back outside the door if we needed to. But the forward part is actually helpful for the backup too, but it's really important to ask for it, drawing those hind feet back. And if you watch me here, I'm just slowly lifting each rein in a 2-beat rhythm. I'm still looking forward, sitting straight, balancing straight. But I'm asking for him to pick up each hind foot and draw it backwards. So how you get that working for you, again, you're going to practice shifting the hip, which I'm going to change in my seat what I want him to do a little bit here so he knows the difference. There we go. And I'm just almost sitting a little more forward so I can take the weight off this hip because I want him to shift that hip over. Louie's like, I already did this. Why are we doing this again? That's the hard part about being a demonstration horse. They do stuff really well, and then we're going to have to ask them to keep doing it for demonstration's sake, but that's his job. If you're just teaching your horse these things, make sure you're rewarding each individual little step that they're improving on. But I'm looking for that 2-beat rhythm. I'm going to ask him to shift that hip over, ask him to shift that hip over. Now I'm going to look forward, sit up straight, still putting that 2-beat slight lift rhythm in my reins in time with his feet. I'm not pulling. Just like I don't want to pull a turn, I don't want to pull my horse backwards. I want them to lift themselves backwards. And because I train horses for other people, and I know that most people are going to get on and ride, maybe they'll back up, doing the 9-step backup type thing. I do teach them that as well, but I don't want to pull. I want to think lift, because he needs to lift his front end, lift his back, and draw backwards. And it's one of those things where I'm just changing that slight feel in my reins and in my body to help him differentiate what I want. Try it again, see if we can get a little more momentum in it. Ooh. So I can change my rhythm in my reins, speed up that tempo a little bit. See if I can get him to speed up his back. Go. Make sure I'm looking straight, sitting up straight. He's not backing straight, but not a big deal. Work on one thing at a time, get the understanding of the feet. And actually backing circles will actually help them learn to back straighter. Kind of seems backwards that way, but Getting him to back in a circle would be a whole different video, but I like how he's lifting his top line there. And I like how he's yawning. That's another important thing. When you get your horse to where they're operating comfortably in their body and carrying themselves comfortably, they relax every time. They'll tell you in some sort of way. But I feel like that's a good spot to stop with this video for my horse, because he's saying right there, like, I did it really well. Why do you keep asking me? I just have to remind him, like, it's your job to demonstrate stuff, and there's always something that we can get better at and something that we can work on. But I'm going to give him a little break on that, because when they're actually carrying themselves well, it is quite a bit of work. But anyways, that's how I start the back up. He's been doing this for a little bit. We're not necessarily focusing on it every day, but you know, it's not our first day doing it. So if your horse doesn't look like this the first day, don't sweat it. Just keep working on the individual pieces and get them better, and next thing you know, you're looking better than Louie and I. Thank you for joining us.